Coach Danklefsen is a national champ, and he joins us to kind of reflect back and look forward. June 6th, 2023, we lose 4-2 to Salisbury.
Yep.
We're down 1-0 in the World Series. You know, on June 7th, you got 2 wins you got to get to win the championship. Take me back to that point when it's do or die. You got to win 2 in a row to take home the title.
Well, we got back to the hotel, and obviously the girls were down, but they were still pretty good spirits. And it was kind of funny. We had our room was here, Salisbury's room was right next door to us. So they were loud. They were already posting stuff about being national champions, and it was already kind of going on. And I told the girls, listen, tomorrow night we come back, and this room is having a great time, and that room's going to be silent. I said we beat them in every category but runs scored, and we led that game the entire way. More runners on base. We outplayed them defensively, outpitched them, just didn't win. And so tomorrow we're just going to get this done. And you just kind of saw like a different mindset. You know, I've been in that situation before. We had to climb that big mountain. And it was different than the year before. Like they just had faith. They really believed this was our year. And I had a feeling, you know, we were going to come out and fight and see what happened. And it all really came down to what was Ann Keppel going to do. We pulled her aside and said, listen, you don't believe in yourself right now, but we do. Right. We really have faith in you. You got us here. We're giving you the ball game 1. We're going to live or die with you tomorrow. And with that being said, we're going to live long 2 games because you're going to get it done. And about 4 pitches in, Coach Foster looked at him like this, big high five. We said, the robot's back. Today's our day. And just kind of took off from there.
You get into the final game, so you win 6-2 the second game. The third game is a classic. Comes down to a 1-0 final. Alexis Michon goes the whole way, shuts Salisbury out, which she had to do because we only were able to muster 1 run. Her performance is one for the ages, isn't it?
It was, and all year long, you know, she wanted that ball, she wanted the spotlight, and we kept telling her, not yet, not yet. You know, we're not going to ride anybody. We're gonna spread this out and trust everyone. And so before the game, I went, just listen. Their kid has like 212 innings. You've got 99, 100, whatever it was, for a reason. You're fresh. It's your ball. You want it. Go get this done for us. And first inning was a little sketchy with the bases loaded, a couple walks. And after that, she settled in and she was great. I mean, I thought her composure, her stuff, I mean, she played mentally, she just went to war. And it was just really fun to watch her take that next step. And that was the kid that we saw in the World Series the year before, that all year long we were building up to get that same kid back.
So the game's over, 1-0, you're the champs. You've been grinding and pushing for this for so long. And just personally as the coach here, setting your goals so high, you finally climb the mountain, you're at the top. Just take me through that immediate moment and then the days that followed when it kind of settles in that we're national champions.
Yeah, it was just an amazing feeling. And you always wonder, if we win it, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to fall down? Or are you going to take off running? And all I know is, like, you know, kind of blacked out. Like I just took off, run towards home, then I ran towards, you know, first base to find the team, and it just kind of hit me like, you know, we just did that, and it was just an amazing feeling of finally, you know, from a selfish standpoint, say yes, monkey's off the back. You know, we're not Charles Barkley or Patrick Ewing of the NBA, D3 softball now. We won the big one, but the best part was literally watching the kids celebrate and watching how happy they were. The bus ride back to the hotel was probably the best 30 minutes of my life, besides seeing my kids being born, stuff like that. But just the joy and the excitement they had, you know, it makes you put perspective. You miss a lot of things. You sacrifice a lot of things, and the kids do a ton. And all that right there, you just saw it was worth it. I mean, just the weight was lifted. Like, we finally did it. You know, there's no excuses now. We are national champions, and it probably took several months before it really hit you. But it just, you know, just an amazing feeling. And the funny thing was, in the huddle, I told the girls, besides my kids being born, this was better than the wedding day. And about 2 hours later, my wife posts and says, watching him celebrate, he enjoyed that more than our wedding. We hadn't had that conversation, so it was funny that we both had that same analogy. But just, you know, just an amazing day to share that with the fans and the parents and, you know, everyone, for the alumni. I mean, my phone died 3 straight days. I could not keep it charged up. I mean, it's only 500 texts, emails, calls. Like, it was truly an awesome experience.
Let's talk about Debbie Hill, who comes in as a freshman, National Freshman of the Year, first team All-American, All-Conference. You know, you thought she was going to be pretty good when you brought her in, but my Lord, I mean, what a season, a record-breaking season for a freshman. And she was, along with another freshman, Joe Trine, those 2 young kids mixed with your vets was such a key part of the team last year. Debbie in particular, just talk a little bit about her makeup as a freshman to have that kind of season.
Well, if you watched her play, you'd never know that she was a freshman.
Right.
Her composure and her humility is what keeps her so good. I mean, if you talk to her now, you still never think that she'd won any of those awards. I mean, she's just such a humble kid. And if she wasn't, she wouldn't be here. I mean, she would have took a scholarship and she'd have played Division I softball, but she knew this was a good home for her. But we had very high goals for her. I think she reached almost all of them. I mean, she was the finalist for Player of the Year. They didn't want to give it to a freshman.
Right.
I understand that a little bit, but and I thought she was the best player in D3 last year. And she put the ball up very high, as we keep talking about with her, is this year, you don't have to win all those awards. Don't worry about awards. You didn't last year. You just came, you showed up, you played. But yeah, I mean, her ability to go in the NCAA tournament, conference tournament, whatever, the first game composure was awesome. I mean, you look at the finals, 13 out of 16 they walked her. And you can't be more fearful of a hitter than those results. So she had an unbelievable year, great kid, is ready to go again. I'm really excited to see how she'll come back from that. There's not much left for her to achieve, really, but there's a lot of things our team can still achieve.
So Amanda Prather, you mentioned Anna Keppel, Cassie Woods, Gil. I mean, you graduate some talent from this team.
We did.
As you do every year. But those were national champion players that now have graduated and moved on. Looking forward to this season, who are some of the kids that will kind of fill in those gaps?
I think Emma Byer will take a much bigger role in the middle. I don't know if she'll play second or short. We're still kind of looking at things. Ashley Tranter had a really good freshman year at first base, kind of unsung hero. No one talks about it, but defensively, that kid was so solid. She might slide over and play second or short as well. She came in as a shortstop. And a transfer, Lauren Gannon, who can play middle. So that's kind of right now the biggest piece to me is we scrimmage tomorrow, and I have no idea who's going where up the middle.
Right.
We'll throw all three of them around, see what happens. I do think we got some really good offensive pieces. So we got a kid named Macy Rocha who came in, D2 transfer, who is just a strong athletic kid, can play first base, hits it really well. We got another freshman that reminds me a lot of Debbie, a 6'1" freshman that swings it really well. Went yard twice against Division I school in the fall. So I think offensively we got better. We'll miss Cassie. She had a ton of fire. Obviously, Prather was the best shortstop in the country last year. So we're going to fill those holes by committee. No one would ask anyone to have those numbers. You're not as a freshman to do what a senior did, but I think we can gap all those and still be pretty effective on defense.
When your kids take the field for regular season games and even working out now, it's going to be a brand new stadium that they get to play in.
Yes.
I know that's something that you're really excited about and proud about. Just talk a little bit about how that came together and what it looks like and how you feel about the new facility.
Well, first of all, it's beautiful. I'd like to thank Ralph and Sherry Trine for making that possible. Everyone thinks, well, you want it, so you got all this stuff done. And really, it was already settled before it even happened. Before the conference tournament was over, the donor came forward, the plans were put in play, and then all summer long, we spent out there working. I mean, we put 500 feet of drain tile in the outfield to fix that. We tore all the fence down ourselves. We did a lot of the work we could by ourselves. Contractors did some of it, but we laid the turf and helped install the pads. And if you haven't seen it yet, I mean, it looks like a Division I facility. It's the same company that did Oklahoma's and the New England Patriots did our field, and it is beautiful. And I cannot wait to show this to recruits even more and have teams come in and see the facility we get to play in. And we have 5 bullpen lanes now, 2 cages that are full size that open and close, so you can have 5 hitting lanes. I mean, it's just the training up there is going to be way better for us moving forward.
So pitching-wise this year, you set up again with Michon. Obviously, Debbie Hill as well. Lauren Clausen will be back.
Yep.
Those are, in my view, kind of looking at the season, maybe the big 3 going forward. Any other arms that you think will crack that lineup this year?
Yeah, I think Mickey will get some more time this year. Then we got a nice transfer, D2 transfer, Alexis, or A-Rod we call her, and from Colorado. And I think she'll be a really nice surprise. She had torn ACL, didn't throw last year, but is Alex is her name, and she's coming along nicely. So I think we'll have 4 or 5 arms again that we can trust. And I think Lauren will take a huge jump this year. She has to. That's one thing, and one question mark we have to answer is Lauren's got to realize that she can be that person and be that third arm. And then Alex and Mickey slide and give us 4 or 5, and I think we're really dangerous to get in the circle.
Well, one of the accolades last year that was so outstanding, so many of them, you forget them all, but Clausen and Hill went back-to-back no-hitters.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she's already made a contribution.
Yeah, I think it's time for her to, as a sophomore, she threw a lot more. And last year she kind of took a back seat to some people. And this year I think it's her time for her to shine and realize that she can be that kid.
So Angelina Perry works with us on Trine Broadcasting, and we were talking today just how it's going, and she said, man, the kids, there's no complacency. Like the team is unified already, working hard already. I think the vets know what you expect, which is a lot. So there's no surprises there. But she's just really excited already about how the beginning has gone and really looking forward to another successful season. Have you gotten that same sense that these kids are already kind of dialed in?
Yeah, I think they're very well aware of the opportunity they have. And we talked about that quite a bit, that, no one else in the country has the opportunity that we have this year.
Right.
And we can't take it, we have to take advantage of this, and obviously nothing's taken for granted. But I will say this team has worked really hard. Like we have, last year we pushed them. I thought the first couple of days we tried to come out and really see what they're at. And they just kind of begged for more. Every practice has been so much fun. We haven't really had that down. We're inside that long, but the weather's been so nice. We've been on the field for 6 or 7 days already.
Nice.
So that really helps mentally. But I think we're farther ahead than we were last year at this point with the pieces that we have. Defensively, I guess things to figure out, but this team has really, really bought in quickly. And I was curious, is there going to be a hangover? Hey, we won it last year, I don't see that. You would think they got beat bad, the way that hungry as they are, the way they fight. So I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch. And if we can keep getting closer and closer, we're going to be really tough down the end.
That brings me to my last question, which kind of piggybacks on this one, but you've won personally now with your team 585 games, 12 conference championships, multiple regionals. Now you've won the big prize, the national championship. What fuels your fire now that you've done it? I mean, you could say, man, I've done it all now. I've accomplished everything that there really is to accomplish. So many accolades, so many wins, so many championships, including the national title. What's the fuel for your fire now as you come into this season?
I think just the kids deserve that. They deserve our best effort every day. They deserve us being out every weekend recruiting, finding the best pieces. All summer long worked on the field. We tried to, I knew we had to get better at the catching position. So I spent all summer researching and talking to catchers and working with catchers myself to get better for this team. I think after you win it, you can go two different routes. And our route was get back to square one, how this started 20 years ago, and let's do it again. I mean, now I expect, and the grounds guy, poor Nick, I was like, no offense, I said, but now I expect everything to be at championship level. These kids bought in, did that. It's our job now to show them respect and do everything we can do even better to better their opportunities. My wife knows me best, and he's not going to be settled. He's not going to be content. Like, let's do it again. Let's, and that's just, who I am. I just want, if we're going to play a game of cards, I want to beat you, and I think our kids really have that personality this year, and it's going to be fun to watch them evolve. But from a standpoint for me, I want to get better in practice here in about 20 minutes.
Right.
Every single day is a challenge for us to grow as people and as athletes, and it's the best part of the job is watching our kids graduate and get better and be better in life because of what we're doing with them. So to me, nothing's changed. Just even more hunger to try to do it again, and just prove people wrong to say, we weren't supposed to win championship or whatever, we couldn't, but we have. Now what are you going to say? Let's do it again. And that's just the fuel that fires you every morning to get better.
Coach Danklefsen, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the championship last year, and we're excited to get into this season 2024. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. Let's go Thunder.